Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
Some prayers to people in Maine. It's obviously a tragic situation. They're great fans of ours, great friends up there. Maine's a great place, and just obviously feel bad for the pain and situation that they're going through. Lewiston's, Bowdoin, a lot of connections. A lot of friends of mine went there. Know the area pretty well, and it's just very sad, difficult. So we're thinking about you down here at the Patriots.
Bill, when you talk about that stuff with the team, how does that manifest itself? Do they bring it up? Do you bring it up?
I don't know. Both. But it could be any community. We all know that. So again, the fact that it's our fans, our area, it's just kind of like the Connecticut, situation a few years back. Not the same, but it's just sad, tragic, and it sounds like it's not over yet. So.
Calvin Anderson popped up on the injury report this week with an illness. Is he dealing with the same illness that he was dealing with in summer in training camp?
No, it's not. It's not the same. Honestly, I don't really know enough to talk about that. Are they related? I really don't. This is like way over my pay grade.
Season, or is that not known at this point?
Yeah. Hope so. Yeah. But that's, I don't know. It's not really a football injury. So, well, maybe it is, but I don't think it is. I don't really know.
Go with the trade deadline coming up on October 1st. How challenging is it for you to weigh the immediate needs of your team in season?
They're focused on Miami right now. Matt and his staff, and there's something to talk about. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
So are you checking in with them on a regular basis right now, or it's just they come to you when something pops up? How does that?
Matt's office is like 30 feet away.
So there is a lot of back and forth.
If we need to see each other, we'll see each other if something comes up. Without anything, it's not like we're in,
Do contract discussions with players, Bill, that are in the last year of their contract, do those factor in at this time of year around the trade deadline? Understanding you might not, if there's a chance you don't have a player back for next season, do you have to think about a trade based on how those contract discussions may be going?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors involved with players' contracts and everything else. Everyone's different, so I don't think there's any specific rule.
You guys do have a fair number. It looks like, I don't know if it's an unusual number, of free agents to date, but it does look like you're scheduled to have a lot of cap space next year. Does that, I'm just thinking about, compensatory pick formula, whether or not you actually be able to fit any players like the part of the team is coming off season?
Yeah, we've talked to a number of players. The ones that we've reached an agreement with, we've reached an agreement with. The ones we haven't. So.
Do you weigh the compensatory pick formula this time of year, or is that sort of a tertiary factor?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it says some relevance.
We'd love to talk to Matt.
well, however many times he's supposed to be available, he's available. So that's all I can tell you.
I appreciate it.
What's on Keyshawn Booty, just behind the scenes, what are you seeing from his development? Obviously, saw him the first game and been inactive in part because you have some of the other receivers. So what do you see from him?
Yeah, it's in a very competitive situation. I feel like we have a lot of competition at that position. So everybody's in it. Guys who perform the best play the most. The guys that don't need to perform better.
How has he been?
Yeah, I mean, they're all competing. Yeah, it's just we have a number of players that I think are all, again, it's very competitive. So see how that goes.
Bill, sticking with that position, we asked Troy and Ross Douglas on Tuesday about what they remember from Pop, the Shrine Bowl. I know he saw a lot of players there, but specific to Pop, how much do you think it helped having his future position coaches, the head coach and offensive coordinator, develop him and maybe get a faster start here from their time together in January?
Yeah, it was good to have him, see him out there. He didn't really do much. He only practiced one day, if I remember right. He was there a little longer than that, but and Mafi, it's good to have him too. We had a whole week with Mafi, so it was good to have exposure to those guys. I mean, we liked them anyway. Even if they hadn't been to the Shrine Bowl, I don't know. Would have drafted them? I'm not sure. Maybe.
I'm sure you guys have had 7 wide receivers on the roster in the past, but it seems pretty unique to have that many. Have the relatively new practice squad rules changed roster construction and how many players you can keep at each position?
I think it's about the same. If you keep more players on the roster, then you probably have fewer players on the practice squad at that position, and vice versa. I wouldn't say that's absolute, but generally speaking, that's the way it is. If you carry fewer guys on the roster, then you probably have a couple more on the practice squad at that position, just to facilitate the practice numbers. If you have more players on your roster, then you probably have fewer players because you have to balance it out somewhere else. Probably when you add up all the practice squad players with all the active players, probably going to get a pretty consistent number on that. It might be team to team, it might be league wide. Some teams may be heavier at a certain position than another position relative to another team, but I would just say overall that's probably the way it balances out. I've talked to a lot of coaches about it, and I think everybody kind of sees it the same way. You just kind of decide where you keep your depth, and if you can't get the player on the practice squad, somebody else is going to take him, then you might have to carry him on the roster.
Has Connor McDermott picked up sort of where you left off when he was released with the injury settlement, or is there still ground?
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. I wish he would have been here, but he wasn't. We had the injury settlement, and he's back, and he's been out there, and he's worked hard, and he's a smart guy. He came in, picked things up well last year, so yeah, he's coming along.
Going back to Keyshawn, what more would you like to see, or how else could he develop to maybe get one of those spots during the game?
Practice every week. They're all out there.
Coach, it was reported that Jalen Ramsey and Nick Needham may play this weekend. What have you seen from them in their most recent tape?
Ramsey hasn't played for Miami.
Oh, I'm sorry. From an on-field perspective, just what they bring physically.
We've seen Needham last year. Ramsey. They're both good players. Needham's a little more of an inside player. Ramsey's played both, outside to inside. Obviously, very talented player, but he hasn't played this year. So, but we've seen those guys in the past. Certainly seen Needham last year. So, we're ready for all those guys that could be activated, or even practice squad players to practicing players who could be elevated. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, we're aware of those guys, and as it becomes more likely, or if they get activated, then we'll kind of increase things on them. But there's a lot of guys we know they're going to play, so we're focused on most of them right now.
So time Montgomery was at practice with a personal matter. Is that something that is a short-term issue or long-term?
Yeah, no, it's a short term. He's here today. Yeah, it was a personal thing. Okay, thanks.